Michelle Pearson back on the couch with me for Imagination Workshop. Comfort Food Cabaret of the old has been reworked.
Yes, yes.
New recipes?
Yeah, absolutely. We always do new recipes every single time we present it. We also have, we have a new team. We just have some beautiful things to present this time. New songs, new stories.
So how do you choose the menu though?
Well, it's generally inspired by my favourite comfort foods. So my favourite foods, things that bring me a lot of joy cooking. So I think that cooking should bring you a lot of joy. There's definitely cakes. There's like pasta. There's cheese. There's meat. There's just delicious food. It's all about food that makes you feel warm and comforted, and really good. And
then you complement that with songs.
Yes, yeah. So I try to weave through song, storytelling, and I guess recipes and kind of cooking demonstrations throughout the show. And we've come up with Comfort Food Cabaret, and people seem to really love it. It's almost like going to a cooking demonstration, and then also like going to someone's lounge room or having dinner at someone's home with a little bit of music on the side.
So do they get to take the recipes home?
Yes, they can take the recipes home.
You've got a book out.
I do have a cookbook called Comfort Food Cabaret, the cookbook, and it has all of my favourite recipes.
Obviously available online?
Yes, at comfortfoodcabaret.com, and you can also buy it at the end of the shows as well.
Fantastic. So what if because my partner is a little bit one of those funky people who, what's we going to eat? How do you support if someone has a dietary requirement at a venue like that?
We are always into dietary requirements. I've got quite a few myself. So we cater to gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian. We can do anything as long as we know in advance. We can always.
And they can obviously do that for the ticketing. They can suggest that they have some special. So you don't have to avoid coming to this show because you think, oh my god, I can't eat the pasta.
Exactly.
We know it's going to happen. So
we are supportive of all.
So when you choose the meals, are they already kind of people friendly?
Yeah, so we often try to keep things gluten-free if we can, or have like a substitute. So if you're doing a pasta, there are some beautiful gluten-free pastas out now. It's not like it used to be 10 years ago.
There's so much stuff
out
on the shelves now.
quinoa, corn-based pastas are really beautiful. So it's quite easy for chefs then to swap out the gluten or the wheat pasta for something else. We often try to do things where we can find a dietary substitute. So the pasta is probably a really good example of that.
That was one of my big questions, is people are always confused about what shows to see. Yours has got everything.
Yeah,
food. Well, I'm assuming drinks. Story, song, takeaways. Like, how good's that?
Yeah, it's a really, really cool experience. People seem to feel really warm and welcomed, and we just really like to share our hospitality with people when they come along.
So when you're inspired for a new song or new food, which one comes first?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes the food comes first, but then sometimes the song. It's usually like stories about, previous relationships or family, or like funny things that have happened in my family around food. To be honest, a lot of our life actually happens around food. So we'll often, we'll connect with a loved one over a romantic dinner. We'll learn a recipe, and we'll connect with, a family member. So there's a lot of like funny things. There's also a few poignant moments in it as well. So often it's usually the music, sometimes the food. It differs.
So your interest in food comes from you do that. You're not a chef, you're just
I'm not a chef, I'm a home cook, but I love cooking. I almost love it as much as I do singing.
So it's like a bit of an obsession, would you say?
Yeah, I love cooking. I've really gotten into it for the last 5 years, and I now do a bit of catering on the side as well, just because I can do it, and it brings me a lot of joy cooking. I like connecting people through food.
Yeah. We forgot to mention the dog's name.
Ralphie.
Ralphie's been and gone now.
Ralphie also likes my cooking.
He's off.
I cook his food like every week. So.
Where your love from cooking came from?
Okay. So.
Or did it just appear overnight?
I think my love of cooking came from my grandparents. I grew up in a Lebanese Australian household, and my Lebanese grandfather could not cook at all. Like, he just couldn't cook. Couldn't even boil water, make a piece of toast. He used to be in oil and, refinery maintenance. He'd often be at work, but my nana was a really good kind of pastries cook, and she would cook like every single day. That's all she did, was just cook. So I really loved that. And I think obviously my dad's parents as well. My late grandfather was a chocolate maker in the Barossa Valley. So he taught me a few things, and he was a brilliant cook. The funny thing about that is he actually was brought up in a family without a mum and dad because his parents died very, very young. And he had to learn to cook. So when he married a very wealthy woman with a maid and a cook, and she didn't know how to cook. So he taught her how to do all of the cooking in the household. So I guess, all of my grandparents have been brilliant cooks, and that's been really helpful.
I'll tell you one thing I remember from when I was a kid. I used to love getting icing sugar and butter, and just
so good.
I would eat it, and it was kind of like, what is that?
It's
like,
still good. It's still
just
good.
stuff.
You know what you need to do? Add a little bit of lemon zest to it. Oh, yum.
You're killing me here. You're killing me. I need a cupcake. Crazy. Did you cook when you were a kid or not?
Not really. My mum was really nervous about me cooking because I probably made a really big mess. When I was a kid, I was really, really fussy, and I loved just pasta with Parmesan cheese on it. And I still, to this day, it's just something I crave. If I haven't had any carbs for a while, I'm just like, I just want some pasta. In winter, all I want is pasta. Like, I just really want it constantly. I love having people over for dinner. I love, feeding people and bringing them together through food.